This motivational story isn't just about one person. In many ways, it's connected to all of our lives. Because stories like this remind us that we're not alone, and that someone else has faced the same struggles we're facing right now. The purpose of listening to these stories isn't just entertainment. It's to learn something, to reflect, and to look inward. Sometimes one story, one thought, or even one single line can become the starting point of real change. Who knows? This story might be the reason your life begins to change too. At 5:17 a.m., the alarm buzzed in a one-bedroom apartment on the east side of Cleveland, Ohio. The sound cut through the darkness like a warning siren. Marcus Reed stared at the ceiling, already exhausted before the day had even begun. His mind was louder than the alarm, replaying worries, regrets, and every mistake he believed had led him here. He hadn't always woken up like this. There was a time when mornings felt full of possibility. But lately, every sunrise felt like a reminder of what he hadn't become. Outside, traffic hummed along Euclid Avenue, people rushing to jobs they either loved or tolerated. Marcus lay still, feeling trapped between the person he was and the person he once hoped to be. Bills sat unopened on the kitchen counter. A rejection email blinked on his phone screen. Again. He told himself the same story every day. You're behind. You're not good enough. This is as far as you go. And the scariest part? He believed it. Marcus wasn't lazy. He wasn't weak. He was something far more common and far more dangerous. He was ruled by his own thoughts. Thoughts that whispered fear when he needed courage. Thoughts that screamed doubt when he needed faith. That morning, as gray light crept through the blinds, Marcus had no idea that his life was standing at a quiet crossroads. No dramatic explosion, no sudden miracle. Just a single moment waiting for him to notice it. Because sometimes the biggest battles aren't fought in the streets or offices of America, but inside the mind of someone who has forgotten their own power. And this is the story of how one man learned that when you control your mind, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your life. Marcus's life didn't turn around because luck finally noticed him. It changed because he stopped letting fear narrate his story. The truth is, most of us aren't held back by circumstances. We're held back by the thoughts we repeat every day. The mind is powerful. It can build prisons out of doubt or doorways out of discipline and belief. Marcus learned that controlling your mind doesn't mean eliminating fear or negative thoughts. It means choosing not to let them drive. It means pausing, questioning, and redirecting. It means understanding that thoughts are visitors, not rulers. When you take control of your inner dialogue, you take control of your decisions. And when your decisions change, your life follows. You don't need perfect confidence. You need awareness. You don't need to silence your fear. You need to stop obeying it. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be intentional. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is waking up feeling trapped just like Marcus did, and the key to their breakthrough isn't outside of them, it's inside their mind. Because the moment you learn to control your thoughts is the moment you begin to control your life. And that moment can start today. One afternoon, after another unsuccessful interview downtown, Marcus boarded the RTA bus and dropped into a cracked vinyl seat. Across from him sat an older man in a worn navy jacket, calmly reading a paperback book. The man looked peaceful, almost out of place in the chaos of the city. Marcus scoffed quietly. Must be nice, he thought. The bus lurched forward, and the man glanced up, catching Marcus's frustrated expression. "Long day?" asked the man gently. Marcus hesitated, then shrugged. "You could say that." The man smiled. "Name's Harold." "Marcus." They rode in silence for a moment before Harold closed his book. The cover read, "Master Your Thoughts." "You know," Harold said, tapping the cover, "most people think life beats them down, but it's usually their own mind doing the heavy lifting.
Marcus raised an eyebrow. Easy to say. Harold chuckled. True, easy to say, hard to live. For reasons Marcus couldn't explain, those words stuck with him. Days turned into weeks, money got tighter, doubt grew heavier. Marcus stopped calling friends, embarrassed by his situation. He spent hours scrolling social media, comparing his life to highlight reels of others. Every night his thoughts turned cruel. You wasted your potential, you're falling behind, this is all you'll ever be. One night, unable to sleep, Marcus remembered Harold and the book. On a whim, he searched the title online and found it at the Cleveland Public Library. The next day, he walked there more out of desperation than hope. He sat by a window overlooking Superior Avenue and began to read. The book didn't promise overnight success. It talked about awareness, about noticing thoughts instead of obeying them, about how fear often feels like truth when repeated long enough. Marcus frowned. If it were that simple, everyone would be successful. Still, something stirred inside him. That evening, when the familiar voice in his head said, "You're failing," Marcus paused. For the first time, he questioned it. "Am I?" he whispered to the empty room. The thought didn't disappear, but it lost a little power. Over the next few weeks, Marcus practiced catching his thoughts. When anxiety surged, he named it instead of drowning in it. When doubt appeared, he challenged it. Some days were easier than others. Some days he failed completely. One rainy Thursday, Marcus received another rejection, this one from a company he really wanted. He slammed his laptop shut. "See?" he shouted. "Told you." The old pattern tried to pull him under, but then he remembered something Harold had said on the bus back when they'd crossed paths again. Feelings are loud, but they're not always right. Marcus sat on the edge of his bed, rain tapping against the window, and took a deep breath. "This hurts," he admitted, "but it doesn't define me." That night, Marcus made a decision. He enrolled in a night certification at Cuyahoga Community College, something he'd been afraid to do because he believed he was too late. The first class terrified him. He sat in the back, palms sweating, convinced everyone else was smarter. His instructor, Ms. Alvarez, noticed his hesitation. "Marcus, I notice you have good questions. Don't silence yourself." Her words echoed louder than his doubts. Balancing classes, part-time gig work, and bills wasn't easy. He was exhausted, but something had shifted. When his mind tried to quit, he reminded himself why he started. One evening after class, Marcus ran into Harold again outside the library. "You look different," Harold said. "I think I'm learning to listen better." "To what?" "To myself. Not the fear, the truth." Months passed. Marcus finished his certification. He applied for a junior logistics role at a manufacturing firm in Akron. During the interview, his nerves flared, but he stayed present. When the hiring manager asked about his gap in employment, Marcus didn't shrink. "I used that time to grow," he said honestly, "and to learn how to handle pressure." A week later, the call came. "Marcus, this is Jenna from North Star Manufacturing. We'd like to offer you the position." Marcus sat down slowly, heart pounding. After he hung up, he didn't shout, he didn't cry, he just breathed. Standing in his apartment, he realized something profound. The world hadn't magically changed. He had.